problem, or to be able to communicate how we value things about our culture and the way that it keeps us strong and healthy. Those kind of things, that relationship that you establish with the people in your class, that can carry through so that when they next encounter a person who's Indigenous, they'll be thinking back and say, oh, I knew another Indigenous person. And it's not that we're all the same, because we're not, but the awareness that it's actually relationships rather than information that shape how people interact with us. And a lot of the time they don't have a relationship with Indigenous people. They have a relationship with stereotypes of Indigenous people, and those are everywhere. So the more they can have actual real relationships with contemporary Indigenous people, people who are professionals, people who are community involved, people who are engaging with their culture, people who are active and living, it helps move us out of the history books and into real life. And I think those kind of relationships are important. When I'm teaching in the class, I try to use the values that I found really helpful and inspiring from Mi'kmaq culture. So one of those is non-interference. It's a Mi'kmaq child rearing technique, essentially, but I found it's been really useful for dealing with questions about how to structure my class, about how do you interact with people who are adults who are learning in a new environment. Issues like respect. The importance of respect in Mi'kmaq culture is pretty well established, and I think if you bring that respect into the classroom and you interact with learners as people who are colleagues, maybe they're not colleagues right now, but they're certainly future colleagues, and you understand that they're also individuals coming from a history, coming with issues that are shaping their ability to learn, and their receptiveness to the information. So those Mi'kmaq values have served me pretty well in class. Respect for people's learning process, the ability to not interfere with the rest of their lives outside of the class, but to give them the skills that they can use in the way that they want to use it. That's okay. Yeah. I try to give a lot of course assignments that people have a choice in, so they can decide what elements of their major paper they want to focus on. So if there's a topic they're really interested in, they can do a major paper on that as long as it relates to the course. And so that helps expand my learning, because I get lots of papers where people tell me new things that I didn't know before. But it also means that it gives them an opportunity to put the skills into practice. When they encounter an issue that interests them, they can then put those skills into practice, examining that issue in a critical and engaged way.
So you mentioned two very important values that we have in our culture, one being respect and the other being the non-interference, or let's say just relationship building, for example. How does that translate into applicable skills with clients in health, for example?
Well, I think that non-interference is extremely applicable in a health context, because so much of what we do in the health field is try to influence other people's behavior. So many health issues that are actually very complex in nature and are not simply down to individual practices get treated as if they are down to individual practices, and that's a really reductive approach. We don't often ask people about what are the social determinants of health in your life. We don't usually get asked as a client with a health professional. We rarely get asked if we're in a supportive housing environment or if we're being exposed to mold or stress. We don't often get asked about issues that might be impacting our ability to have a healthy diet. We get told to eat better. We get told, lower your sodium, increase your calcium, whatever the issue is. But we don't often get asked about what might be shaping our ability to follow those directions. So if you're not aware of the social determinants of people's health and you're not addressing those in a health environment, you're just sort of treating people as if they exist in a vacuum, and it's not accurate.